Hey players, it's time to grab your tea and have a seat. Let's discuss politics, crime, celebrity gossip, investigative reporting. Welcome to The Real Tea with Double D on GSMC Podcasting Network, where I am black and the news is always petty as hell, but it's accurate.
Hey players, welcome to a brand new episode of The Real Tea with Double D. Of course, I am Double D and we are on the GSMC Podcasting Network. So excited to be with you all tonight to record a brand new episode. I know y'all already talking crap about me in the comments. Double D, where the hell you been? Now you said between 10 and 10:15. It's 10:41. What's wrong with you? Well, listen, we don't have a very long show tonight. I just have a few things I want to talk about, and I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. I had some snafus. Of course I did. You know, I'm a mother. I have things going on. You know, life presents us challenges. We must overcome them. But hey, I'm here. And if you get sleepy, just go ahead and watch the playback tomorrow. Now, y'all go ahead and grab y'all tea and have a seat. I ain't going to hold you for too long. Let's go ahead and get into this, because the first thing that we're going to do is talk about Uvalde and also remember the 21 people that lost their lives on that day. It was a tragedy. 21 people, 19 children, 19 children, 2 adults, 2 teachers that lost their lives. And when I tell you, that was probably one of the worst things that I've ever had to report on, especially the way that everything happened, is finding out the fallout of everything. It was really horrible. So, of course, I wanted to, of course, send my condolences out to the families of the victims and the friends of the victims in Uvalde, and also the community as a whole. They are still healing from this horrible tragedy. Now, President Biden had some things that he wanted to say, and I just wanted to start this off by playing President Biden's wonderful speech today.
I realize this is a really tough day for all the families. Remembering is important, but it's also painful. 1 year ago today, Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, turned into another killing field in America. A few days later, Jill and I traveled there and stood before those 21 crosses outside the school. On each cross, a name, like in these candles behind us, of 19 children, 9, 10, 11 years old, and 2 devoted educators, and 17 more injured. We spent hours with the grieving families who were broken and never, ever will quite be the same. To the families of the children and the educators who we know that 1 year later it's still so raw for you. A year of missed birthdays and holidays, school plays, soccer games. Just that smile. A year of everyday joys gone forever. The bend of his smile, the perfect pitch of her laugh. At a vigil a few months later, one of the moms said, "When I lay in bed and turn to my side, envisioning her staring back at me, I want so badly to be part of alternative reality that just doesn't exist. This is my reality. Because my 10-year-old daughter was murdered in her 4th grade classroom." Standing there in Uvalde, Jill and I couldn't help but think that too many schools, too many everyday places have become killing fields in communities all across every part of America. And in each place, we hear the same message. Do something. For God's sake, please do something. We did something afterwards, but not nearly enough.
moment of silence for those babies that were stolen from us on May 24, 2022. It's still such a tragedy, and it still hurts so very badly. And I can only imagine what the parents go through. All of these parents have turned their pain into power. And quite frankly, I don't know how they do it, because they have been fighting for change since their babies were stolen from them. All of those parents spend time protesting. They spend time going down to the Capitol in Texas, going to Washington to the Capitol to speak. They all take the time to fight for gun reform, which is what they have all been asking for. They actually had to fight for some of those police officers to be suspended. Pete Arredondo, the police chief, to be fired. They had to fight for those things. So when I say they turned that pain into power, I know that pain is still there, but they turned it around to power because they're fighting for not only their children, for the memory of their children, but for our children, to get gun reform so another family doesn't have to go through what they went through. And that is very powerful. So again, I'm sending my love out to the families. The first legislative session in Texas, excuse me, since the worst school shooting in Texas history is poised to end next week without the passage of a raise the age law that Uvalde families have spent almost a year pushing lawmakers to pass, often with wrenching testimony about loved ones they lost in the massacre. Governor Greg Abbott has said that the measure is unconstitutional, and top legislative leaders have said that it did not have the support it needed to become law. In response to Uvalde, legislators instead backed school safety bills that gave the state more power to require school districts to create active school shooter plans, and use part of their school safety budgets to place silent panic alert buttons into classrooms. So that's what has happened in Texas, and those families are still fighting for change. And again, once again, I'll send my condolences out to the families and the friends and the community of Uvalde as a whole. Uvalde was shut down today. They didn't do anything today. They all gathered together. The schools were closed, businesses were closed, all in memory of the beautiful and precious lives that were lost that day. All right, players. So we're gonna go ahead and move on before I cry my eyes out. All right. Y'all grab your tea and have a seat. We're moving forward. All right, players. So we're going to be moving on here to the DeSaster that happened today. That was Ron DeSantis's launch, launching of his presidential campaign. When I tell you, honey, it was a shit show on wheels. It was definitely a shit show on wheels. I declare, honey. What a disgrace. So yesterday, again, I'll briefly go over it. Yesterday, Ron DeSantis, they said he had a big announcement with Elon Musk. Now, according to reports, Twitter did absolutely no work to their servers, no nothing, in anticipation of a large crowd. Of course, they should have anticipated that more people would be into these Twitter spaces than what would normally be in there, which would range up to about 300 people. But according to reports, there was about 600,000 people waiting for this spaces, and for that space, and it actually overloaded the servers. And this was the result of the overloaded server. I declare, honey, it's a disgrace.
Let's see. So, we on? Yeah, I think so. Just to simplify this. we're just going to use your. I think we're just going to use your. Well, there's 382,000 people in the room. All right, great. So let's see. So they just keep crashing, huh? Yeah, I think we've got just a massive number of people online, so it's servers are straining somewhat.
Baby, people was waiting. People was waiting. They was like, what the hell? What the hell is going on, honey? So again, Twitter employees said that they did not do anything in preparation for this onslaught of people being in the Twitter space, honey. And it caused an overload and it crashed the Twitter's iOS app and caused its website to glitch. Also, teams, again, did no advanced prep for that day. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. I mean, Twitter. Baby, is this what Tucky to the Tuxter Crosses got to look forward to? Oh, honey, he better be rethinking his plan, baby, because if he's planning on launching a show on Twitter, he definitely better not be doing it in Twitter spaces because, hunty, Twitter is not equipped. Twitter is not equipped. And here's the thing. Here's what really got me was that Elon Musk was actually in the room with this guy who was hosting this. So I'm pretty sure he was scared shitless that he was going to lose his damn job. In fact, we may find out that he lost his damn job tomorrow because, baby, when I tell you it was a hot boo shitty mess, it was a hot boo shitty mess. But Ron DeSantis said that he was happy with the way that it turned out. He scurried his ass over to Faux News, even though Faux News was making fun of him, honey. He scurried on over there to speak with them. And this is what he had to say about his launching that occurred on Twitter.
We had a huge audience. It was the biggest they'd ever had. It did break the Twitter space. And so we're really excited with the enthusiasm. But ultimately, it's about the future of our country. Trey, I'm running to lead a great American comeback. We know the country's on the wrong track. We see it with our eyes. We feel it in our bones. We see the border being overrun. We see crime infesting the cities. We see the federal government making it more difficult for families to make ends meet. And we have a president who is a listless vessel, not energetic, and not dealing with the key challenges that are facing our country. But it does not have to be this way. Our decline as a country is not inevitable. It is a choice, and I think we can choose a better pathway. And so what I will do is help restore normalcy to our communities, integrity to our institutions, and sanity to our society.
I declare, honey, what a disgrace. So again, he's happy with the way that it turned out, honey. President Biden, Dark Brandon, made an appearance, honey, because he definitely trolled Ron DeSantis, and he actually launched a new ad. Y'all take it out. Check it out.
That was something that we were very proud to do.
So I would embrace proposals, like Paul Ryan offered.
I'm not a candidate.
Oh, you're talking about that.
Doc Brandon definitely was out today. He actually trolled him again on Twitter, and after launching the ad, and he posted and said he asked people to donate to his campaign, and he says the link works. I declare, honey. I love me some president, but I love when he gets like this. I declare, honey, that was great. So again, Ron DeSantis, he has officially launched his campaign. According to him, he's happy the way it turned out. Frumpy Dump is also making fun of Ron DeSantis right now, just kind of, playing off of the launch being a disaster, and it definitely was a disaster. So, baby, if this is indicative of the way his campaign is gonna do, baby, he's got a long rocky road ahead. And according to reports, honey, he raised about $1 million in the first hour after launching his campaign. So there are people that are anticipating him despite his failed launch. All right, players. But baby, I'm gonna keep it a stack. I loved it for him. But that right there was better than Musty to the Must Pie Marjorie getting laughed off the house floor today, trying to ask somebody about decorum. I declare, honey, what a disgrace.
The members are reminded to abide by decorum of the House.
Baby, the Democrats had no shame. They had no shame. They laughed. They laughed Musty to the Must Pie Marjorie ass. They laughed so loud over the sounds of the gavel. All right, players, y'all go ahead and grab your tea and have a seat, because speaking of Florida and Ron DeSantis, we got to talk about this person that was responsible for Amanda Gorman's poem being banned from the schools. Because baby, when you see what she's been up to, Hunter, you gonna wonder why the hell did Florida even listen to her in the first place. Grab that tea and have a seat. We moving forward. All right, players. So yesterday I told you guys the story of Amanda Gorman's poem, "The Hills We Climb," that she read at President Biden's inauguration being banned. Also, they banned another book called "The ABCs of Black History." I read a little excerpt from that book, as well as played "The Hills We Climb." Again, Amanda Gorman read this poem at President Biden's inauguration, and it is an absolutely beautiful poem. Well, a school in Miami, actually in Miami Lakes, actually banned a school district in Miami Lakes. Is called the Bob Graham Education Center. Banned the use of this book, honey, and it was because of a parent by the name of Daly Salinas. Now, when she child, it is really damn ridiculous and a hot boo shitty mess, because when she submitted the application or submitted the form for the book to be banned, she didn't even know who wrote the not the book but the poem. When she submitted the application for it to be banned, she didn't even know who wrote it. She actually wrote that Oprah Winfrey wrote "The Hills We Climb." What again, I told you, is by Amanda Gorman. And she also stated when she that the reason why she wanted to ban the poem, because it was inappropriate. She said it has no educational and it has no educational. That's all she said. She said it has no educational and have indirectly hate messages. And she incorrectly described it as being authored by Oprah Winfrey, and the book features a foreword by Oprah Winfrey, but it's not written by her. One of the pages Salinas complained about reads, "Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished." So this Daily Salinas that wrote this, it was very interesting whenever they found out who she was, because baby, let me show you this photograph right here, and I want y'all to tell me in the comments, who is she standing next to, honey? Because this person may look kind of familiar. Does that person look familiar to any of you out there in the audience? I know you can't see it out there in podcasting world, but you guys can see it. Could that be Enrique Terrio from the Proud Boys? Oh, yes, 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 honey. It's true. Miss Daly Salinas was protesting with the Proud Boys back in 2019. She is also a member of this, excuse me, she was a part of a march this year as well, where she shared a Facebook post entitled "The Protocols of Learned Elders of Zion," which included a series of anti-Semitic tropes about an alleged Jewish conspiracy to control the world. Salinas appears to have deleted the post on Wednesday after it was flagged by the group Miami Against Fascism on Twitter. After the deletion, she posted a picture of an armed Israeli Defense Force soldier in front of a tank, which read, "People never seen this. I love my Jewish people." So she was trying to backpedal and pussy pop out of it. So Salinas is a registered Republican and appeared to become more politically active during COVID-19, according to the review of her social media. In October of 2020, Salinas was interviewed briefly for a segment by PBS NewsHour about Florida voters. And she said, "My biggest fear is they talk about the Democratic Party. They talk about socialism and communism going in the same way." She told PBS that she had fled Cuba for the United States when she was 21 years old. And she stated the reason why she came here: "I remember I was little and I say, I need to live. It's too much oppression and the dictator. So I don't want this for my kids. I want my kids to keep their freedom," is what she told PBS. In August of 2021, Salinas attended a protest against masks in Miami-Dade schools, where she was photographed standing next to, Enrique Tarrio, who again has been convicted of sedition. Just over a year later, Salinas attended another rally organized by the Proud Boys in support of Christopher Morzan, a far-right extremist nicknamed the Cuban Confederate. At the protest in November of 2022, Salinas can be seen wearing a Run DeSantis t-shirt and a hat. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. But she has an issue with children reading The Hills We Climb and by Amanda Gorman. And also she has issues with children reading Langston Hughes. So Amanda Gorman has responded to this, and she said, "One parent could get my poetry banned from classrooms, and yet one country can't ban assault rifles from massacring them." That's what she stated regarding this situation. Of course, she stated also that she was gutted. She was very upset about this entire situation. And I agree with her. It's ridiculous what is going on. I think it's disgusting that they can ban a book because one parent complains. They never identified anything that was offensive about it. They can't tell you the offensive material about anything that they ever banned, and they took it from the elementary school and put it over into the middle school. So according to Ron DeSantis, that means it's not banned. It's still in use. It's just not in use at certain ages. That is his excuse for all of these books that are suddenly being banned in their schools. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. Y'all go ahead and grab your tea and have a seat, baby, because it's time for us to go ahead and move on to Frumpy, to the motherfucking dump. I declare, honey, baby, if Frumpy's heading to court in March of 2024, baby, when I tell you the judge done put a muzzle, he done put a muzzle. Y'all grab that tea. All right, players. So Frumpy Dump was in court yesterday. I didn't get a chance to report on this, honey, because I went to sleep last night, but I'm here now, honey, ready to spill this tea. So let me give you guys these updates on Frumpy to the motherfucking dump and what happened in court the other day, honey, because he was there via video, and they set his new court date as March 20, his trial date for March 25th of 2024. Now, again, Frumpy Dump is charged with 34 felony counts on allegations he falsified business records. And of course, we know he's pled not guilty. So they had a brief hearing. Again, Frumpy Dump was there via video, and the judge ordered that Frumpy Dump cannot say what he can and cannot say publicly about the case, and evidence his legal team will get from prosecutors to prepare for trial. So During the hearing, Frumpy Dump could be seen speaking and gesturing to his attorney seated next to him on the screen, but his audio was not audible. At times, he sat back and folded his arms. The Frumpy Dump only spoke to confirm he had a copy of the protective order for the case, and the judge asked him, "Did he have it, honey?" And he said 3 words: "Yes, I do." Now, Frumpy Dump's attorney said that Frumpy Dump remains concerned that this order infringes on his First Amendment right. The judge ordered that Frumpy Dump cannot speak about the case, and also he ordered that Frumpy Dump cannot be some evidence that will be presented from the prosecutors. Frumpy Dump will not be privy to, because they worried about him blabbing on social media, running his ass on over to Devil Is a Lie Social and talking too much, and also giving up privileged information, giving up things about maybe possibly witnesses. So there's going to be certain things that Frumpy Dump is not going to be privy to at all. Now, if his attorneys choose to break that trust, then they could be held in contempt, according to the attorney. Now, Frumpy Dump's attorney said that Frumpy Dump is worried about this infringing on his First Amendment rights. His attorney said that he understands that he has to comply with the order, and if he doesn't do so, he's violating the order. Of course, the judge said it's certainly not his intention in any way to impede on Frumpy Dump's ability to campaign for president of the United States. He is free to defend himself against these charges. He is free to campaign. He is free to do just about anything that does not violate the specific terms of the protective order. Violation of the order or court mandate could result in sanctions, which include finding him in contempt, which is punishable. Okay, so earlier this month, the judge signed off on the protective order, which in part said that the case evidence prosecutors give Frumpy Dump's defense may not be shared or posted on any news or social media platforms, including but not limited to the Devil Is a Lie Social, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, Snapchat, or YouTube without prior approval from the court. Frumpy Dump can only view some evidence designated by prosecutors as limited dissemination materials. I could be saying that wrong. Ooh, child, that's embarrassing. That would kill me. In the presence of his attorney, and cannot copy, photograph, transcribe, or otherwise independently possess that evidence per the order. Prosecutors turned over other discovery material to Frumpy Dump's attorneys during the hearing yesterday, and they have some new scheduled deadlines. Defense motions are now due on August 29th, and prosecutors must respond by October 10th. The next hearing is scheduled for January 4th of 2024. So that is what happened in court yesterday with Frumpy to the motherfucking dump on those 34 counts with the Stormy Daniels hush money, honey. So today, Frumpy Dump did something else. He actually is asking to talk to Merrick Garland. Now, this is regarding the classified documents and the January 6th probe with Jack Smith. Now, he done issued a letter on loose leaf paper through his attorneys to Merrick Garland, asking Merrick Garland to have a meeting with him. The attorney said, "We represent Frumpy Dump, the 45th president. We represent Frumpy Dump, the one-term, twice impeached president of the United States." In the investigation currently being conducted by the special counsel's office, unlike President Biden, his son Hunter, and the Biden family, Frumpy Dump is being treated unfairly. No president of the United States has ever in history of the country been basically investigated in such an outrageous and unlawful fashion. We request a meeting at your earliest convenience to discuss the ongoing injustice that is being perpetuated by the special counsel and his prosecutors. Baby, Jack Smith has been issuing subpoenas all over the world, and Frumpy Dump is upset to the highest level of upsetness, honey. So now he said, "I need to speak to the manager." He's knocking on the door. Damn, that was a good one. He said, I want to speak to the manager. I want to speak to Merrick Garland. After you done talked to Merrick Garland like he was a dog this whole damn time, baby, when I'm going to keep it a stack with you. If I was Merrick Garland, I wouldn't even respond. That should have go at 513 like everything else that Frumpy Dump that ever issued on loose leaf paper. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. Y'all go ahead and grab your tea and have a seat. Let's move on, honey, because CNN didn't get enough with this town hall. They're going to go ahead and give Nikki Haley one. Grab that tea. Let's move. So, baby, CNN did not get enough, honey. As we all know, CNN had Frumpy to the motherfucking dump on there for a town hall in I believe it was New Hampshire. And it had one of the lowest ratings of in CNN's history, honey, for a town hall. So they haven't learned their lesson. So now they've decided to go ahead and bring Nikki Haley on. CNN announced today that it will host a town hall with Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley in Iowa next month, weeks after a much criticized similar event with Frumpy Dump. The forum will with Nikki Haley will air on June 4th at 8 p.m. and it will be moderated by CNN's chief Washington correspondent, Jake Tapper. Now, I know I won't be watching, honey, because I'm going to be watching The Duggars. That is going to premiere, and I'm watching that live. I'm going to be watching The Duggars. It's a 4-part series. I'm going to do 2 one day and 2 the next day. I won't be watching this, so I'll give you some highlights, but I'm not watching it. So, again, the Trump Town Hall, which caused controversy inside and out, scored some downward ratings. It was 3.3 million viewers, which is different. Critics said that CNN lost control of the town hall and gave Frumpy Dump a platform to spread election disinformation and attack E. Jean Carroll. As we all know, E. Jean Carroll has requested to amend her lawsuit because of things that Frumpy Dump said on CNN. So, baby, Nikki Haley stated that she is going to go ahead and be a part of this, honey. So I'm wondering, is she going to go on there and she going to say things like she just recently said that is giving everyone pause?
We've got biological boys playing in girls' sports. It is the women's issue of our time. Where is everyone? My daughter ran track in high school. I wouldn't even know how to have that conversation with her. How do we get our girls comfortable with biological boys in their locker room? It's not okay. Everybody know about Dylan Mulvaney? Bud Light, right? Make no mistake. That is a guy dressed up like a girl making fun of women. Women don't act like that. Yet everybody's wondering why a third of our teenage girls seriously contemplated suicide last year. What are we doing to them? We're supposed to be growing strong girls, confident girls, not ones being made fun of.
I don't understand. I don't get the correlation between unaliving and trans teen. I don't get that. And then Nikki Haley, she says things like this, but she was the one that was totally offended just a few months ago when Don Lemon said that she wasn't in her prime. Actually, Don Lemon basically lost his job because he stated that Nikki Haley wasn't in her prime. And then she goes to New Hampshire and she says crap like this out of her mouth. It's ridiculous and a hot bullshitty mess, honey, but CNN is allowing her on their platform. So I guess we'll wait and see what happens, honey. Nikki Haley, somebody just said it in the comments, and that was my next point. Nikki Haley has a 4% approval rating with voters. So I really don't know what CNN is trying to do. I don't understand, honey, but it ain't for me to understand. It's their platform. They can do what they want to do with it, but that don't mean I gotta watch it. All right, players, y'all grab y'all tea and have a seat, because we moving on, honey, to Matthew Riley. Let's talk about it. All right, players. So somebody put this in my inbox, honey, and I said I'd make a video about it. So really quickly, we're going to talk about this GQP, local GQP politician who has resigned. Now look at him, honey. He's feeling real good about himself right there. He's in Cranston. He's a city council member in Cranston, Rhode Island. And he's a GQP member. He talks a lot about protecting children and abortion and all this kind of stuff. You know, all of the major GQP talking points. This is the kind of stuff that he likes. But Matthew was in some trouble deep, honey, when he was caught in 4K sleep in his car. Looks like he was passed out with a pipe in his hand. Y'all go ahead and grab y'all tea and have a seat. Let's watch Mr. Matthew Riley. It's a disgrace.
Getting ready for court, so I dozed off on that.
You dozed off?
Yes.
You didn't have anything else on you?
I had the pipe. That was
Any crack in the car?
No.
You smoked crack?
What's that?
Yeah, you smoked the crack? Is that what happened?
No, that was much earlier. I was getting my hands out of my pockets, putting everything away, just trying to get...
Earlier when?
I smoked it earlier at my house.
What's your name?
Matt Riley.
And you're an attorney?
Yes, I'm the councilman in Cranston.
And you're a councilman in Cranston?
Yes, I am.
You're a councilman in Cranston, smoking crack with crack on you. What do you think the constituents would say? I know what I'm going to say, but, I'm going to refrain from it. But
I've been clean for 13 years. I went through a really bad divorce season, and I did relapse.
Whitney dying. Crack rehab fails.
First of all, let's get one thing straight. Crack is cheap. I make too much money to ever smoke crack. Let's get that straight, okay? We don't do crack. We don't do that. Crack is whack.
Oh man, Matthew. So Matthew Riley, of course, was arrested and he was charged. He faced calls for his resignation. Police said that they found him in his SUV at around 11:30 with 2 crack pipes and some of that crack, some of that rock. They caught him with some of that rock. Police tested the substance that they found at the scene and said that it was positive for the big C and the big F. So the report also said that Riley appeared to be sleeping, as you guys saw. He was passed out, honey. He was definitely on there. So he resigned. Issuing a one-line resignation letter in which he just said he's resigning from the position. So he did resign. Member of the GQP. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. Now listen, I'm going to go ahead and keep it a stack, man. Anybody can have an addiction. Anybody can have an addiction. Things can happen. He said he'd been clean for 13 years and he's going through a divorce with his wife. Things like that happen. You know what I'm saying? But when it's always going to be the hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be the hypocrisy of the GQP, because people like him, if he wasn't who he was, he wouldn't get the help that he needs. You know what I'm saying? They just want to throw him in jail. You know what I'm saying? That could have been, any type of situation. Anything could have happened if there had been somebody else aside from him. So anybody can have an addiction. Also, anybody can get better, and there is help available if you want to do that. I would never make fun of anybody for having an addiction, because at the end of the day, that can happen to me. That can happen to anybody. But it's also never going to be hypocritical of me when if something like that was to ever happen to me. Y'all would never be on here saying, "Oh, Double D was on here grandstanding talking about old dude," and she out there, doing whatever she's doing. But I'm gonna go ahead and keep it a stack, baby. I would never do no crack, okay? Because crack is whack. All right, y'all go ahead and grab y'all tea and have a seat. We go scurry along, big baby, because we got to talk about this Ken Paxton. Oh, Ken Paxton. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. It looks like Ken Paxton done cut off his nose despite his face shit and fell back in it. Because yesterday he talking about he wanted Dave Phelan to resign because Dave Phelan was drunk. I'm going to go ahead and keep it a stack. He appeared to be drunk. However, like I told you before in my video earlier, he's not the one to get on his high horse and try to act like he better than somebody. He need to be talking about something. Ken Paxton not the one to do that because Ken Paxton got too much skeletons in his closet, and it definitely came out in the Washington Arrangement today in this public hearing. The whole reason why he got up there and grandstood in front on Dave Phelan is because Dave Phelan had slipped up, and done something that he could pounce on, and he knew that this public hearing was coming up. They had been issuing subpoenas. They had issued about 12 subpoenas, that Texas committee, in this investigation. Ken Paxton is asking them people for $3 million. Of course they're going to conduct an investigation. You'd be a damn fool if you didn't think that they was going to conduct an investigation and you asking for the hot $3 million. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. So they found that Ken Paxton likely broke laws. Now, they didn't decide on anything today. They have the power to recommend impeachment for Ken Paxton. So even though Ken Paxton has never been convicted of anything, they have the power to recommend impeachment for him, and that shit have to be brought down to the floor. So that's going to be very interesting. And since you done sat up here and pissed off Dave Phelan, I'm gonna keep it a stack. They probably gonna rule to impeach your ass. They just expelled Brian Slayton a couple of weeks ago, baby. They not playing. So as we know, honey, I'm gonna tell you briefly what Ken Paxton is accused of and why they were having this hearing. So the hearing came as Ken Paxton is seeking legislative approval for more than $3 million in taxpayer dollars to settle a whistleblower lawsuit with top aides who accused him of corruption. The whistleblower's lawyers on Wednesday thanked the committee for recognizing their clients suffered real harm in retaliation for accusing Ken Paxton and called on lawmakers to fund the deal. So accusation laid out by investigators surrounded actions by Ken Paxton that previously have been uncovered by reporters or disclosed in court documents. Despite the cloud that had hung over Ken Paxton, he remained popular with GQP voters. He was actually just re-elected. So Paxton former staff members reported him to the FBI in 2020 on accusations of breaking the law to help a campaign contributor. The donor, Austin real estate developer Nate Paul, employed a woman with whom Paxton acknowledged to be having an extramarital affair with. Now, oh, yes, honey. In February, the Justice Department in Washington took over this investigation of the extramarital affair and all that kind of stuff. But the House committee started investigating this entire situation with Ken Paxton. So since April, the House committee has issued at least 12 subpoenas for testimony and information to people and entities as a part of its probe. According to the meeting minutes, the note, the parties were left anonymous to prevent reprisal and retaliation. So Ken Paxton was doing everything that he could to try to cover up that he was having an extramarital affair. He was also helping this guy, Nate Paul, in side deals. Nate Paul was also helping him. They was doing some work on Ken Paxton's house. In fact, they say that Ken Paxton's house was remodeled by this by a company in conjunction with this Austin real estate developer. Okay. And so Ken Paxton got $20,000 worth of granite, and they say he paid $0.00. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. So today at the hearing, here is some of what came out in the Washington Arrangement.
The motions to quash that were presented on all 39 subpoenas were reviewed by an independent judge who took action immediately and quashed all subpoenas. The senior staff took it upon themselves to then provide that information, the quash subpoena ruling, to those who were affected by the grand jury subpoenas that were sought. And again, there were two general targets of the grand jury subpoenas. One were the financial institutions and individuals related to Nate Paul's civil litigation and civil litigation concerning Nate Paul-controlled entities. And number 2, law enforcement related to the federal investigation, including magistrate judge and other law enforcement personnel. The first part, the financial institutions, some of those banks were associated with the Mitty litigation, the Mitty Foundation lawsuit and litigation. The second part, the law enforcement related information, would have been information that could have been part of the open records request that was initially sought and covered by Ms. Boos.
So I want to summarize really succinctly, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but what your investigation of allegations by whistleblowers tells us is that the Attorney General himself chose to hire an attorney with 5 years experience based on the recommendation of Nate Paul's attorney, give that attorney some job title that doesn't even exist with the Office of the Attorney General, and somehow give him the authority to issue 39 subpoenas to go after business interests for an individual and law enforcement that is conducting an investigation on that individual.
That's correct.
I declare, honey, what a disgrace. So again, the legislative session does end, I believe, on Monday. So they have, man, let me make sure. Yeah, the Texas legislative it ends on, I believe, Monday. Y'all, I could be wrong about that. I didn't write it down. I'm so sorry. But the legislative session, I believe it ends soon. So if Applehead Abbott does not call a special session before they decide to do anything, then it just goes out with the washing and arranging, according to what I read. So yeah, if they don't go ahead and do anything, Ken Paxton will be once again, I guess you would say, getting away with it. All right, players, y'all go ahead and grab your tea and have a seat. It's time for y'all favorite game, and then it's gonna be time to get on out of here. Players, it's time for another riveting episode of Play Stupid Games, Win Stupid Prizes.
So I went in there, I set my flag down, which me and her got to talk about because I want my flag back. But anyway, I set my flag down, and I sat down here at my desk. I'm a taxpayer, I'm a patriot. That is her desk. We loaned her that desk, and she ain't appreciating the desk, so I thought I'd sit down and appreciate the desk. I threw my feet up on the desk. At that point, I realized that my had cut me also, and I bled on her envelope. So I picked up the envelope and put it in my pocket, and I put a quarter on the desk. Because I'm not a thief. She ain't worth the quarter, but I paid for that envelope. I didn't steal anything, and I didn't tear anything up.
Richard Barnett. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. They call him Bigo, honey. He's the one that scurried his ass on up to the Capitol to participate in the shenanigans on January 6th. Oh, yes, honey, that's him. You see him with his feet up there. He was grandstanding, talking big crap about Nancy Pelosi. Well, today, the federal judge sentenced him to 4 years in prison for the 8 charges that he was convicted of back in January, including civil disorder. He faced up to 20 years in prison for the top charge of obstructing an official proceeding. So according to court documents on January 6th, Richard Barnett spent 10 minutes in Nancy Pelosi's office and only left when he was sprayed with chemical irritant. During the time, he put his feet on the desk and wrote a note calling Nancy Pelosi the B word. Court documents also stated that Richard Barnett had a stun gun in his pants while in the speaker's office, and that he took an envelope from the office. Prosecutors said he left the Capitol showing the envelope to other rioters like it was a trophy. Today at the sentencing, the judge stated that he shuddered to think what would have happened if the staffers had been there or the speaker, God forbid. So Barnett has shown no remorse for his actions on January 6th, which impacted his sentence. The judge said the defendant continues to say that his conduct was similar to a 4-year-old temper tantrum. Barnett addressed the court during the sentencing, stating that he will appeal his case. They want me to be remorseful for things I did not do. I'm obviously appealing, is what he had to say. And this is what he had to say when he was scurrying his ass on out of the courtroom. He's been grandstanding and he's been... Oh, I thought I had it, y'all. I don't have it. He was grandstanding and having a whole lot to say, but today he scurried on off and said he had no comment. So he's been sentenced to 4 years in prison. He also stated that he was angry that day and that he'll admit he was angry and he apologized for that. His wife was seen crying as the couple exited the courtroom. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. Well, baby, you know what happens when you play stupid games? You win stupid prizes. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. And you know what? This is for the taint of Trumpy to the motherfucking dump. So I hope you realize that you were.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Oh, yes, honey. You were deceived by Trumpy to the motherfucking dump. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. Well, I have one thing to say, honey, and one way to say it. Hey, enjoy that stupid prize. Now, listen. Now, I'm wondering if they're going to ever ask Ron DeSantis, and this is a very good question, because Trumpy Dump has already stated that if he becomes president, if he's reelected, he's going to go ahead and pardon some of those January 6th insurrectionists. So I'm wondering if Ron DeSantis will express those same sentiments, or will he say no, he's not going to pardon them? That's a very good question, baby. Somebody need to write that down. Somebody need to let somebody in some high places know about that. Ask him if he's going to pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. Because if he says no, baby, any Megamites that were considering voting for him, baby, they turning the other cheek. All right, players. So I really hope y'all enjoyed this brand new episode of The Real Tea with Double D. I'm so sorry I was late, but y'all know I love y'all. If you went to sleep, I'm so sorry. I see some of my babies in the building. Andrea, I see Eva, I saw somebody else up there too. Let me just name out some names. Deborah, Linda, all my ladies here tonight. No men. I ain't got no men in the building. Oh, Ed, I see Ed. Hey, babies. I'm so glad y'all here. Thank y'all out there in podcasting land for listening to me one more again. I appreciate y'all for downloading, coming back every week. Thank y'all out there in Facebook and YouTube world for tuning in each week. I really appreciate it. Ambrika, hey, baby. How you doing? Thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate y'all for waiting up. I promise I'll be a little bit earlier next week. I promise. All right, players. Y'all have a good night. Peace. Dang, I ain't got my stuff ready. Hold on. I ain't got my stuff ready. Let me try it again. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Thanks for listening to The Real Tea with Double D. Remember to support by following on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And subscribe to the website to keep the tea piping hot at blackuratnews.com. That's BLAQURATENE